What's going on, guys? Episode number 20, Smack Talk Live, going down. We've got a very special guest, Fayop Lich on Rumble, joining us today, one of the OGs from day one. This guy is supporting everything that we do here on the channel, Instagram, and on the Twitter. Always breaking a ton of news. If you're not following him, check him out. Great dude all around. We want to commemorate him on the 20th episode of Smack Talk Live. My man, how you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Awesome, buddy. Appreciate you joining me. And we got Ding running controls today. Ding, what's going on?
Yeah, brother, man. You know, it's we got a week left, a week and a day until we start off season 3. Again, like I feel like we just got done with the big event. Now we're heading into, we don't know how many weeks yet, but when we find out how many weeks, we'll let you guys know. But we're running into a ton of weeks of content, of stuff to talk about, and new faces to now, join the conversation and become prospects in some of these divisions.
Yeah. I mean, I just feel like the momentum keeps on building. I'm not sure if you guys seen the Kody Hrastnik interview that we did at UFC X. We put that up on YouTube. Very great insight. Kody giving us some, some things to look forward to coming into the show. He's going to be there competing in the heavyweight division. We haven't seen him since the trials for Power Slap, somewhat 2 years ago now. So great to see him back in the mold. We know there's some other cats that are going to be there. We know Waylon Frost is making an appearance. We also know James Stonier. And there's even words that Darius the Destroyer is on season 3. Crazy. What a turn of events, going from a coach on season 1 to a contestant in season 3. Fayop, my man, what do you think of that? Darius, going from a coach to a competitor, and what do you expect of him this season?
Well, my thoughts on Darius as a competitor, I was not expecting that. I did not expect him to go from coach to competitor. I think that it could be a good thing for him because his main issue here in Power Slap is that he's just not adapted to the rules. He keeps on doing fouls, getting DQ'd in matches. And this could be good for him because it could allow him to better learn the Power Slap rules since he's used to Slap Fight Championships rules. But here on Power Slap, he keeps on getting fouled and DQ'd, and this could actually be great for him because maybe he could have a comeback, go on to fight someone like Damian DeBell or Dorian Perez again, and then he could have a comeback in the heavyweight division.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I think your insight, your analysis is interesting. You're always in our comments, but I appreciate it. But then how did you get into it? How did you become a fan of slap fighting in general?
I actually knew about slap fighting after I saw a TikTok or Instagram video of someone talking about slap fighting, and I've been heard about Russian slap fighting contests prior to this. It's just that I didn't actually see things like Power Slap, so I went on Rumble because I wanted to go on Rumble because I wanted to see what was on Rumble because I was looking at a bunch of platforms. Then I saw that Rumble had sports, and then I saw Power Slap, and I was immediately my first reaction was, wow, this is the best sport I've ever seen because I was just really entertained and I really like the sport. And I remember I saw matches what was it? Crispo versus Bernard, Young versus Scott, Drain versus Nuruddin, Perez versus Stoner. I saw all the Power Slap 4 matches. Those are some great matches. The Crazy Hawaiian versus Marsus. Those were some great matches that just got me into the sport. Then I saw Power Slap 5, then Road to the Title Season 2, then 6, 7, and 8, and now I just tune into every live event because this sport is just really nice. And I also am a fan of a lot of fighters here. Dudes like Azio Rodriguez, John Davis, Austin Turpin, Vernon Cafty, Anthony Blackburn, Damian DeBell, the Crazy Hawaiian. There's a lot of fighters here I'm fans of.
Awesome, man. I mean, that's great to hear, dude. What do you kind of brand yourself? I mean, are you a streamer? What do you kind of brand yourself? I see you doing stuff.
I just see myself as a variety, everything. I do gaming. I talk about Power Slap stuff, slap fighting in general. Talk about things on Slap Fight Championship. I also want to join Power Slap eventually in the future. Amazing. And I just basically do everything. I'm more of a variety person. I do everything.
What division would you fight at in Power Slap?
Middleweight or light heavyweight. Still haven't decided though.
What are you walking around at right
now? Around 180, so I'm probably just gonna do middleweight.
Amazing. I mean, Ding, part of getting this guy on, man, you were infatuated with him in the comments Always bringing him up. Didn't know how to pronounce his name. Now you get your opportunity. Are you excited?
Yeah,
Are you excited
nobody
for
can
this
ever
moment?
pronounce my
Bro,
name. Everybody,
you know, he's got a PlayStation in the background, so I'm kind of on the fence. I don't know, man. I usually don't do Sony. You know, but dude, you're in the comments all the time. We appreciate it. That level of dedication. And again, there's not a ton of people who know kind of the intricacies of the sport. Majority of kind of the casuals, if you will, if that's a thing in slap, kind of just think it's, you know, there's no technique to this. It's very shallow. Their knowledge of the sport itself, how you train for it, how you prepare, is very, very,
and I'm
you know,
always
again,
arguing with people about that and just surprising people whenever I bring up fighters trainings, whenever I talk about things like the neck exercises I see some fighters do, talk about things like how some fighters practice their striking, whenever I show them things like Road to Title season 2 and 3. And then some people get surprised when I actually know a lot about the sport. Mainly because most of the time the people who hate on the sport just never actually looked at it. They just like saw a clip of a knockout on TikTok, then just base their entire view of it on that. They didn't actually look into the sport more. And then I usually have to argue with them on that and put out matches. Like, for example, I keep on having to argue. People think that the sport's just luck-based and it's that whoever goes first wins. Then when I show them stuff like matches like Davis versus Rodriguez won, or something like, for example, what was that one match? Wolverine versus Turpin 2, which was a recent match, actually. And a few other matches. And like, didn't the Bell win his coin? Didn't Ryan Phillips win his coin toss against the Bell and got KO'd by the Bell? And then I tell people a few other matches like Kathy versus Hens or Darius versus Wolverine. And then people get surprised. Or I tell people stuff like Hamlet versus Kathy. And then people get surprised when they hear stuff like that about fighters just immediately knocking out their opponent without even winning the coin toss. They lose the coin toss, eat their opponent's strike, then KO their opponent. And then there's some people who say stuff like, oh, well, fighters can't make a comeback when getting knocked out. They get knocked out, they're out. Then I tell them stuff like, well, what about Vernon Cathy? He got KO'd by AJ Hints and Alan Klingbeil, used to be known as a glass cannon. Then he improved his chin. Now look at him. He's fighting dudes like Delvin Hamlet and Austin Turpin and being able to take strikes from them. Look at Isaiah Qualms. He had a big comeback this year and had one of the biggest comebacks this year after he previously got KO'd by Russell Avero last year. Now he's having a comeback, and he just KO'd Wesley Drain, who was the number 2 contender in middleweight.
Yeah, I mean, you bring up a great point, man. I think over time, I believe the ratio of, you know, first hit versus KOs has actually gone down. You know, I believe we're below 50% now, and so even better. We're pretty far down there, and so now you really have the data to support that conclusion that, you know, winning the coin toss doesn't mean that you're going to win the fight. There's a lot of factors that go into it, and as we've seen over the last, I guess now would be about almost 18 months. You know, guys have really become creative in how they train and prepare for these moments.
Yeah, no, it's great to see. Like I said, 22%, you know, the matches end on the first lap, so it is becoming less and less. I mean, we've talked about it too a lot of the accumulation of damage. And you know, we talked very much about you know, Isaiah and Wesley Drain, you know, who gets a strike first, the accumulation of damage in a match. We also have the same thing with Vern Cathy and Austin Turpin. You know, that was a match that Austin won the coin toss. And then when he missed weight, it then transferred to Vernon Cathy. You know, getting that first lap is definitely an advantage, but it is not the end-all, be-all, and we are seeing it definitely level out over time as we're getting more matches. You know, I believe Power Slap now is upwards of somewhere 200 matches that they've been able to collect, you know, data from in the league, as you said, in about 18 months. So it's great to see some of these numbers leveling out now.
Because they got the Power Slap 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches. Then they got Road to the Title seasons 1, 2, and 3. And not to mention, I know there's like some fighters who like to actually lose the coin toss. Like, doesn't Aziel Rodriguez, doesn't he prefer to lose the coin toss and strike second? Because I know there's like a few fighters who actually prefer losing the coin toss.
Yeah. So some of them think it wakes them up. When you know, the fight starts when you get hit. So I don't know. I think that's just the way to deal with losing it. I'm not sure how much they particularly like that per se. But, you know, I did want to talk about something interesting because I know you want to talk power rankings. I've seen your power rankings that you posted up. So give me your top 5 power rankings and we'll go through and we'll kind of talk and debate them a little bit.
Top 5, like what? Out of the champions or out of just fighters in general?
Just pound for pound.
Well, I'd go champions first. I remember I actually made a post of these on X in my pound for pound rankings.
That's where I seen it.
Yeah, so I'd rank it John Davis, number 1, Damian DeBell, number 2, Crazy Wine, number 3, Anthony Blackburn number 4, Vern Caffey number 5.
Interesting. Okay. So John Davis taking his top spot at 185. What's your rationale behind that?
Yeah, seeing as John Davis has some pretty impressive matches in his career, with him winning matches against dudes like Azio Rodriguez and Wesley Drain, and didn't he win that match against Wesley Drain whilst his arm was broken? Didn't his arm like break mid-match or dislocate?
His shoulder,
So, yeah.
He changed to the left. Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's Damien DeBell. He has some impressive wins against dudes like Wolverine and Ryan Phillips and Dwayne Crispo. Then he gave Dwayne Crispo his first loss, and he's the first person he was the first person other than Darius to defeat Wolverine. And then there's the Crazy Lion where he just has a really impressive record as well. Yeah. And then like isn't the only person who ever defeated the Crazy Lion Zales from Punchdown? That's like the only guy who's ever been able to defeat the Crazy Lion. Other than that, no one else has been able to defeat him. Anthony Blackburn, since I'm going by champions first, I'm going to do Anthony Blackburn number 4. Then Vernon Caffey, I'm ranking him above Wolverine ever since when I saw Austin Turpin do the Wolverine, I kind of rank dudes like Austin Turpin and Vernon Caffey above their own champion at their weight class. So I say Vernon Caffey. But I put Wolverine there as well. I'd say either Vern Caffey or Wolverine. I'm just putting Vern Caffey there because it makes more sense since, Austin Turpin defeated Wolverine. Then Caffey, now he just defeated Austin Turpin. And aren't they giving him a title shot eventually? Because then he's going to probably defeat Wolverine. So I'm just putting Vern Caffey there.
So you think Vern Caffey's a better pound-for-pound fighter than Wolverine? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And also, I see someone in chat saying Anthony Blackburn has an interesting one. No Munez. Yeah, I'm saying Anthony Blackburn there because Blackburn just defeated Munez. But then again, I might put Munez there because I think, aren't Blackburn and Munez, then people say they might run it back and get a rematch with each other. That would be interesting if they, run it back. Since a lot of people pointing out that was a close match, that was a close match. And, yeah, I see people in the chat. DeBell could be number 1. Yeah, it could be DeBell or John Davis. I'm going to go with John Davis, number 1.
What about Mr. Robert Trujillo? At 155, little guy, pound for pound. I think he's got to be in that ranking somewhere. The dude just keeps on, knocking out guys.
I put Robert Trujillo underneath Vern Caffey. Just that the issue is Robert Trujillo, I think he could probably easily be the best fighter in the sport. Just that he hasn't had many matches or tough opponents, mainly because since there aren't really that many opponents in lightweight yet. And I know season 3 they're doing a lightweight tournament and getting more lightweights, but he just needs more opponents. His only opponents have been dudes like Jules Scott was the toughest opponent he faced. He just needs more opponents in lightweight. I think he should move up to welterweight and try fighting like Anthony Blackburn and Emmanuel Muniz because that could be good for him. But he just needs more opponents at lightweight. I think he should just move up to welterweight personally and try maybe fighting Anthony Blackburn and Emmanuel Muniz and Jules Scott. That's what I think he should do. But until then, there needs to be just more people at lightweight. But after season 3, there should be more people. Then we're going to see him as the lightweight champion if he fights whoever's the winner of the lightweight tournament. Isn't that what they're going to do? Lightweight tournament winner fights Trujillo for the belt. Isn't that what they're doing?
Yeah, it seems to be in the promo they are touting the lightweight tournament. So it definitely makes sense that's going to be the play that's happening there. I think Trujillo could go up to face Anthony Blackburn. I think that would be a phenomenal match. To be completely honest with you, it could be quite intense to see. I think you got to get Robert on that list in the top 5. If you ask me, just pound for pound. Even though he's 155, the amount of punch that he's been able to deliver and the way that he took care of Jules Scott in that victory of Power Summit #1 was definitely something to.
Yeah, Robert Trujillo is an impressive fighter. He could probably be the greatest fighter in the sport. He could probably be the true number 1 pound for pound. Just that the issue is he just hasn't had many tough opponents because
I agree with that. I think Robert Trujillo gets slept on because he has lack of competition, and that's unfortunate. But I think his day's coming. I believe that, and I think I agree. You could argue DeBell and John Davis, for number 1, depending on how heavily you rank their attributes. So if you're looking for longevity and activity, I feel like these guys are kind of close as far as how long, how much activity you've seen from them. But as far as dominance goes, I think DeBell has the more clear wins in all of his fights. John Davis, of course, like I said, a lot of respect for the whole injury thing with the shoulder switching over, still winning. But let's be honest. You look at his face after that first round when he hurt his shoulder and had to switch. That did not look like a guy that was comfortable up there to defend his championship.
Yeah. go. I can do a little trivia for you, Flip. Let's see how much of a fan you are of John Davis. Who did his only loss in Power Slap come to?
Dorian Perez.
Hey,
They still need to release that match, Perez versus Davis. They need to release all the qualifier matches.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't there, like, I remember, like, didn't Robert Trujillo fight multiple guys as well in the qualifiers? Like, he fought one dude, and then there was one dude who he lost to, which is a mysterious fighter who, I don't know. All I know is that there was someone in the qualifiers he lost to. Like, then I know that there were some great matches in the qualifiers. Like, Phillips versus One-Eyed Wolf, that was a great match in the qualifiers. They just need to release all of the qualifier matches. That's what they need to do. Release all of the qualifier matches. Because as like the only way you can view the qualifiers is to just go on season 1 and then just see like what matches they uploaded on there. Andres Barrera. Yeah, I don't know who that is. I know that, yeah, that's the guy Trujillo lost to. I didn't know his name.
Yeah, he was, I believe, a boxer. He's still kicking around. He actually hit us up in the DM for a little bit, and he seemed to walk away from the sport, I believe, very closely after that match. Just wasn't his thing.
So this is interesting, right? Speaking of the middleweight division, you got Brandon Rhodes himself, who just fought Brendan Bordeaux at Power Slap 8. We've seen glimpses of that match. We've not seen the whole thing. We know that Brandon Bordeaux was able to get the job done. Brandon Rhodes himself is saying that Bordeaux deserves the title shot, but a plot twist, Bordeaux versus Isaiah pulls way better numbers than Bordeaux going for a title shot against John Davis. That's an interesting one. What are your thoughts on that kind of suggestion?
I think Isaiah Crones deserves a title shot more, but Bordeaux versus Isaiah could be a good match because then Isaiah Crones, he can do that match, which I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right. Isaiah Crones, yeah, he could do that match against Brandon Bordeaux. Then if Isaiah Crones wins that match, then he gets a title shot against John Davis. Or he could just get a title shot against John Davis right away. But I think Bordeaux versus Quiones would be a good match. That would be a great match because then it can see which one of them is more deserving of a title shot. So, yeah. And seeing as Brandon Bordeaux, like, isn't he coming off of a draw against Eddie Bromere? Like, prior to his match with Brandon Rhodes, he had a draw against Eddie Bromere. So, there's also that. So, maybe, like, Bordeaux versus Quiones could be, like, a good match to see which one of them deserves the title shot.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be a good match. I disagree that it'll pull more numbers, though. I think John Davis has much more name recognition. I think with the title on the line, I think that from a sheer numbers perspective, there's going to be a lot more eyeballs on that. You know, as much as we like the prospect of Brandon Bordeaux, you know, he's still got a lot that I think he has to prove. You know, we haven't seen his last match yet. We haven't seen a ton of him. I think we just need to see more of him for him to continue to build his popularity. He's got a really good base built. You know, there in Michigan, he's got a ton of family and friends that do support him. He views well on our channel. You know, a lot of the comments on the post and stuff are very, very intriguing. I just think he needs to be in the limelight a little bit more, and he really needs to get that KO knockout on his resume that will allow him to be able to continue to move on. And, you know, I also do believe, unfortunately, though I know Brandon is injured, I believe he posted that up as well. Is that correct? Thing that he posted up on his IG?
Yeah, he's injured.
Is there an injury there?
Yeah. I mean, his eye. Yeah, his eye was he had 5 fractures in his orbital. So we're hoping he's able to clear it up soon.
I didn't know he was injured.
Yeah, so that might keep out for a little bit, unfortunately. So, but I mean, it's probably something very, very similar to what Jules Scott had.
Well, there it is.
Yeah,
I know he wrote the
eyes
year gotten
wrapped
cleared,
up.
but here we got Brandon Bordeaux saying he's good.
Perfect. I need my words because sometimes guys say things to me in confidence, and I was like, I want to make sure that.
Yeah. Blame it on Ding instead. It's better. Blame it on Ding. It's all good.
Oh, good man.
Yeah, I think all of this is just too much. I think somebody's got to fight John Davis. That's it. It's that simple. John Davis wants to defend his belt. He has the right to defend his belt. There's a clear contender. Let him fight.
Yeah, they like have multiple. Yeah, like they have Brandon Bordeaux and then they have Isaiah Quiones. Like they should just give John Davis a match already. He's been like, hasn't he been demanding for a match since like Power Slap 7? Like I thought they were going to do Davis versus Drain too, but then they did Drain versus Quiones. Now I'm thinking they're doing Davis versus Quiones, which if they don't do that, then what are they doing at that point? Because they just need to give him a match. He wants a match. There's a lot of people who want a title shot against John Davis. Why don't they just give him a title fight? I mean, there's been dudes like Russell Rivera.
Oh, this is Chief. This is Chief, dude. Look at the picture.
That's funny.
I'm like, who is this? It's Chief. What's up, Chief?
Yeah,
Amazing.
yeah,
He's on the
yeah.
show.
Then,
We know he's on the show.
oh yeah, he's on season 3 of Road to the Title, and I also saw there's like Brandon Rhodes. I think James Stoner's on season 3 of Road to the Title. I
Correct.
saw him I saw him in the promo, and I saw a lot of other fighters in the promo as well.
We know Darren Godfrey's
Yeah,
coming back in
Yeah.
season
yeah,
3.
Darren Godfrey, Cody Hrastnik.
Yeah.
There's a lot of guys coming back.
Actually, Darren's a guy I don't think we've seen any of his matches. We know he was part of the trials, but I don't think they ever aired any of his fights.
Yeah, I think he got DQ'd or won his first match by decision.
I think he lost. I think he's the only one on the website, I think. But
Yeah, I think he got DQ'd.
I could be wrong. So, yeah, I mean, it's exciting. We keep on talking about it. We keep on trying to, bring more and more content to you guys. On the IG Live, I interviewed actually Wolverine yesterday, and I got his take on what he thought about Vern Cathy and Austin Turpin, what Austin missing weight, and kind of what he wants to do next, and who he thinks is deserving of that title shot. So really interesting to catch that. Dig, if I'm wrong, it's going to be released on Thursday, correct?
Yeah. This Thursday. Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that light heavyweight division, I mean, I know we keep talking about the middleweights, but that light heavyweight division is always fireworks. And there's some guys at the very top with Wolverine, he's Russell Rivera, Austin Turpin, guys that keep on performing. And that mix of athleticism and power at 205, to me, is one of the most entertaining divisions that we have. I mean, so I think whoever comes out of that, whatever the brass decide at that light heavyweight match against Wolverine, it's going to be phenomenal. Hopefully we get that sooner than later, because I'd love to see Wolverine back up there against one of these young bucks, like Vern Cathy, who's on a roll coming off of the Austin Turpin victory, kind of having a second win, in his power slap debut. And I think it's now or never for Vern Cathy. In reality, this is his opportunity, because he's probably not going to get another shot unless he goes on a long victory streak again. But I think his time is now. I think he's done enough. And, Vern Cathy would be a great match against Wolverine. And I think it's something that they could sell, in all honesty. I think you could kind of sell the two older OG guys in the sport.
Wolverine versus Vern Cathy would be a great match. What I'm at to predict is this. Vern Cathy KOs Wolverine first round or second round. That's what I'm going to go with. Second round KO by Vern Cathy. That's what I'm going to go with. And Vern Cathy gets the light heavyweight belt. So, yeah. And then another thing I'd like to see is this, which is something that's probably never going to happen, considering the fact that the other guy's in middleweight now and is getting KO'd by other fighters. That being maybe something like a Cathy versus Hintz rematch. That would be an entertaining match and a great match. Because then we can see like Vern Cathy now versus AJ Hintz now, and they're both just rematching each other. Maybe something like Cathy versus Klingbeil rematch as well. So yeah, those would be some great matches. Since now that Cathy no longer just has a glass chin now that would just be for some entertaining matches, because him just fighting them all again, except now he isn't just going to get knocked out right away.
Well, hold on. You're missing somebody. What about Russell Rivero?
Oh, yeah, Russell Rivero. Rivero versus Cathy would be a great match. Rivero versus Turpin would also be a great match. No, only thing Rivero has to do is just avoid doing stepping fouls, and he could probably be the most dominant fighter in light heavyweight if he just avoid doing stepping fouls. That's all he has to do. Since considering the fact that, most people, including me, predict that Rivero's going to get DQ'd as soon as he enters a match, all he has to do is just keep his feet planted, and then he'd win a majority of matches. He'd win 100% of his matches if he could do that.
Awesome.
Oh, wait, what's that? He never braced for it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so that was
actually
actually something that Vern has talked about in the past, where he thought AJ said a different number than he did, so he wasn't ready for it when it came before 3, essentially.
Did the same thing happen in his match against Alan Klingbeil?
No, I haven't heard anything about that. I've just specifically heard him say it about the AJ fight. Was that he heard 2 or 1? I'm sorry, he heard 3, but AJ actually said 2 or 1.
Wait, Amir says that he probably didn't brace for his first 3. He also says, is he lying? That lying statement.
I see what he's doing.
Awesome.
Yeah, listen, we can only take these guys at their word, right? So whatever you give us is what we're going to go on. I have no reason to discredit anybody.
Yeah. And then there's also, I also want to see some of the other fighters, the light heavyweight and other weight classes fight. Like, for example, I want to see like some of the lower rank fighters go into lower ranks so they can like fight for the middle spot. Like, for example, dudes like maybe Brian Ellis versus Cooper Housley, or did my audio just go out?
No, you're in. You're good.
Okay, or something like maybe Garrett Blakesley versus Delvin Hamlet, or maybe TJ Thomas versus Ronald Staten, or
Yeah,
maybe something like in middleweight. There could be something like Eddie Bromir versus Maros Musikis. Something like, for example, Travis Aragon versus Joe Landman. Just some of the lower ranked fighters going up against each other.
I'd love to see Merlis back. That's a great name to drop. I'd love to see Merlis back up there, and I think he's a great prospect also, representing Estonia, which I didn't know
Yeah,
existed
and what
before
was that
him.
one guy who literally got KO'd? Was those like those two people in season 2? Like that one guy who Brian Ellis KO'd with a foul, and then we never seen him return. Then there was also Sean Kilmartin, the infamous. There's also him. Then he get KO'd by Slambo with a stepping foul, and then for some reason they never gave him a match again. Like the two of them got KO'd with fouls, and then they just never were given a match again for some reason. Like those could be two fighters we could see return.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, when you take that on top of how the rankings change when there's disqualification wins, you can tell Power Slap's not interested in DQ wins. They don't care about them. They don't rank them very high. So I think that's important to know also, just for the future of the whole sport.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with the fines that they enabled as well. With the rule change.
Oh yeah, they fined Austin Turpin, and then like there's also stuff like suspend. Like, didn't they also suspend Turpin or something and move him up to heavyweight?
No, there was nothing like that. Nothing like that. He just got fined 30% of his purse for the weight miss. But what Corey's referring to is if you lose your last match via disqualification due to fouls, you forfeit the coin toss for the next match.
Yeah, I know you forfeited coin toss. I didn't know you get fined if you get a.
Wait, so who does that affect then? We don't know. Do we have any that affects Katarina Lehner?
Yeah, that's someone who's affected by this. And did Jack Zane get DQ'd against Jules Scott? Because I heard Jules Scott saying his Instagram story. Didn't he show like his eye was all messed up? I assumed there was some fouls, and I assumed he won.
You can say all of that. We don't know. We don't have an official one way or the other.
Okay, I just assumed that because I saw his Instagram story, I saw that he was hitting the eye a bunch of times, and then he said that he won on his Instagram story, and I just assumed maybe he got DQ'd. Maybe Zach Zane clubbed him 2 times, and then he got a DQ on Zane. Or he won by decision and by fouls. I thought he won by decision because I just assumed Zach Zane fouled him every round once I saw that. So, yeah.
Yeah, just keep in mind, if there were DQs, the person who lost due to the DQ, if it was because of fouls, they'll forfeit their next match's coin toss.
Yeah, because then that could mean, Zach Zane and Jackie Catley could be 2 fighters. I mean, Zach Zane and Christine Leonard are 2 fighters who could be forfeiting the coin toss. Since I don't know about Zach Zane versus Jules Scott, I just assume he got DQ'd. But yeah, I just got confused a bit because I'm just reading the chat, laughing at something.
Yeah, we just don't know officially one way or the other, so I don't want to say that we've not seen anything, so we're not 100% sure.
Yeah, I can't wait till they release the tape matches because stuff like Greenholm versus Housley and Scott versus Zane, Bordeaux versus Rhodes. They literally showed a clip of Brandon Bordeaux KOing Brandon Rhodes, but still have yet to show the match.
Well, hold on. We don't know if he got KO. We know he got dropped. We don't know if he got KO.
Oh, yeah. Well, then he got dropped then.
Yeah, but that happens. Turpin got dropped and then got up the first time.
Yeah, well,
for cash.
Yeah, that was impressive. I don't want to take a trip down memory lane, but I was surprised. It was almost 400 pounds. Just
in the past, they did the same thing with Cooper Housley versus Stevie Ray Payne. They showed Cooper Housley KOing Stevie Ray Payne on a highlight reel on Instagram, but it took them multiple weeks before they showed the actual match.
What I'll say is that if you look at their promos, and Corey did it perfectly, and I posted it on our story a couple of days ago, we looked at the promotion that they did for Fontainebleau, and he went through all the names that we saw, and the only person that I noticed that was wrong was Garrett Grimes. The person that actually competed was the person who was slapping him in that clip, who you could not see from that clip, and it was Wesley Drain. Trujillo and DeBell didn't compete, but they were coaches. So it looked like that promo absolutely gave us some peek into who was going to be on the card. So I would pay attention to these promotions. As people have talked about, if you slow down, Corey said it, you slow down some of these promos, watch them at 0.25, you'll see things that'll give you some hints. You'll see if people take more than one slap. And we did a little bit of that on the final slap last season when we looked at trailers. We're like, oh, this person took 2 hits, so this gets out of the first round. Their promos really do tell you a lot. You just have to watch them the right way. You got to pay attention to the right stuff. And I think that's a really cool Easter egg that Power Slaps sort of created, where they give us these hints, and only those who catch it. But I did want to talk about some of the precedents that were set at Power Slap number 8. The first one being a guy like Vern Cathy, right? He's got issues with his chin at one point in time. People are questioning, can he really do this? He comes back, and now all of a sudden, exactly, he's on a tear
as hard as he does.
100%. He's on the tear now, where he just defeated a guy who defeated the champion, who Dana White himself regards as the best slap fighter in the world, in Wolverine Rambeda. It kind of messes with your head, because it's like, can you get yourself there? Can you train your chin in some way? Can you change your psyche? I don't know what adjustments he specifically has made that's led him to this point, but he's definitely changing in his career, and I think that's a massive precedent for the future of the sport.
Yeah.
And then I think the second thing is that when you talk about, you talked about it earlier, right, with the first strikes, it doesn't always mean that you're definitely going to get knocked out because you lost the coin toss. So there's a few different things at play here that I think are really shapeshifters for the divisions to come as this sport evolves, that really give people hope. Like, you're not just one and done, or if you take a loss, it doesn't mean it's the end of the world. And I was thoroughly impressed with what we saw, particularly from a guy like Vern Cathy.
Yeah, and yes, it's like the only fighters who panic about the coin toss are just fighters who could be glass cannons, or fighters whose names are Amir Nuruddin. Those are the only people who panic when they lose the coin toss. Those are the only people who get scared when they lose the coin toss. That's it. But other than that, the coin toss doesn't really affect much. Since if a fighter is good on their own, then they shouldn't really need to care about the coin toss. And as we see in more matches, the coin toss doesn't really affect anything.
Yeah, not holding anything back. But I mean, if you were receiving the strike from Vern Cathy in your first ever slap match, I think you'd be a little gun shy about receiving the slap first as well. So,
yeah, especially since I want to join Power Slap, and this is gonna be funny for me because because like I'm gonna interact with these people. I've been fans of these people all my life, fans of dudes like John Davis, Aziel Rodriguez, Isaiah Quinones, Wesley Drain, and my first interaction with them is going to be them slapping me across the face. That's going to be the first interaction we have with each other.
I think we got to get Amir Nuruddin and you up there. How about that?
Yeah.
In the middle somewhere.
Yeah, that. And also, another thing I want to talk about is I want to see dudes like Chin Reaper and Vince the Mercenary and Power Slap. And I also wonder, is Power Slap ever planning on like merging with Slap Fight Championship? Will that ever happen? Because that did happen. Yeah, I wish that did happen, because then we could see stuff like, for example, something like Tim Silva versus the Crazy Hawaiian. Like, didn't he just win against the Neanderthal? Or we could see something like, for example, a good interesting match would be something like Slim Reaper versus Wolverine or Austin Turpin. Like, isn't he in light heavyweight and Slap Fight Championship? Because then Slim Reaper versus Austin Turpin or Slim Reaper versus Vern Cathy would make for a great match as well. That's something I want to see.
I mean, look, until the guy's in the league, I don't want to put anything out there. I don't know, we know he wants to fight Power Slap. At the moment, he's not there. I do think we know something about Vince the Mercenary. And Corey, you'll know a little more about this than I do, because you kind of know this guy's history. I believe he's here. Is that correct?
He's here as a where.
And I think he announced. No. I think Vince the Mercenary announced that he was on the show, if I remember correctly. Is that accurate?
All right, W.
Yeah. So Vince the Mercenary, you will see.
W. Congrats.
Yeah. So, dude, we really appreciate you joining us, man. Awesome, always chatting. Again, we appreciate the support thoroughly. And thank you for coming on, and thank you for being what I'll call a loyal subscriber to us here at Slap News, man. It means it's immeasurable, the amount of support that you guys give us, and particularly you just being somebody who's here week in, week out, engaging with us. We can't appreciate it, anymore. And again, we just wanted to show you, as a token of appreciation, give you a chance to jump on the show and shoot the shit with us a little bit.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Thanks, brother.
Awesome. There we go, my man. First time we did it. What did you guys think? Should we bring on the loyal supporters of Slap News more often? Great to get a different perspective. Got myself, we got Ding. We've got Big G's from time to time coming on here, giving you our perspective. But nice to hear from the people, break down what he thought was the pound for pound ranking.
Amir's not interested in us bringing anybody else.
Amir doesn't want to fight him? Come on, man.
Oh, that was amazing. That was amazing.
Yeah. No, you know what? I think it's great. Like I said, getting the supporters involved, talking shop. We're passionate about it. We know that the true hardcore fans of Power Slap are also passionate about it. That's really, what we talk about every single week when we do this. We're trying to foster and build a community of the most die-hard slap fighting fans across the board. Really being able to make sure that we've got a collection of people that watch this show, that like our posts, that are really here for the long haul. It's kind of twofold. It's like we have to nurture that community that we're building, that we want to be here, and we have to also provide, the content and welcome new people in to hit those new audiences, to give them the proper education and learning of the sport. Like I just had a great talk today. Like I'm in the Midwest of Canada, which to you guys is probably like the North Pole. I had a great talk, and it was, the same things keep coming up. Like, I can't watch it. It's barbaric. It's like, what are the medicals like? And then when you actually start breaking down the stats behind it, and you look at, the 200 plus matches that Power Slap now has, and the data behind it, and what they're using to open up state by state, and what they're presenting, showing that there's less serious injuries, there's less 30, 60, 90-day suspensions compared to MMA. So we're starting to see everything and when you have that conversation, when you educate people, it gets them past the shock and awe that they see on the social clips and changes their perspective and their mind around that sport. And so I think it's really, imperative. I think, Ding and I share the same common interest in that, of debunking some of the myths around this and really being ambassadors for the sport to be able to grow forward and convert these people that may not have given it a shot before, but to give them an opportunity to watch a live event, either in person or watch it live on Rumble, which is a phenomenal production, and giving them now with the added knowledge to be able to do so with confidence and knowing that it's not just injury after injury after injury. So you're asking when Power Slap 9 is, Ding? Did I just see that?
But I was Jesse Nutting.
Jesse Nutting? Oh, Jesse probably knows as good as we do. We've talked on last, previous episodes. We talked about it with, season 3 of Road to the Title coming July 24th. We kind of prognosticated that it'd be a 12-week show, kind of where that would line up. We thought potentially it lines up, I believe, the week before, or like 10 days before the Abu Dhabi event, October 26th. So could line up perfectly in that. We haven't seen it yet, and this is the wild card factor because we know they do it with, with Tough. Could they run a live event as the show is taking place? I think your answer is potentially yes. So we may see something take place in August or September in Las Vegas potentially before we move overseas. But we do know that Dana has said that they are committed to going to Abu Dhabi before the end of this year. So we just look at, okay, what makes logical sense at this point? We know they're in Abu Dhabi early August. That's not going to happen. But we know October is still there on the slot. Probably makes the most logical sense that their team's going to be there, the PR team, security, their equipment, everything else is going to be there already. So it'll be interesting to see that takes place. But I think from, if you want to handicap it, it's probably safe to say that the end of October is probably going to be Power Slap number 9. Would you agree, Dave?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think, again, it sucks. I'm not happy about it because it's a long layoff. Dana has talked about it at length, right, with how Lorenzo and Frank want to do it. Frank meaning Fertitta, not Lamicella, but he wants more events, not less. And it feels like this is the 3rd event of the year. The 4th event's in October. We're getting close. And if we're going to do 5 events a year, then great. But that's what we did last year. So
yeah. Well, I thought the original plan was 4 to 6. I thought they were trying to push that upper echelon. But we got Amir Nuruddin giving us some breaking news on what is taking place in Season 3. I definitely did not get KO'd on Season 3 on his son's life. Ding. Sounds like certainty to me. Would you put your son's life on the line?
If it was the truth. Yeah, if it was the truth, yeah, that's the way to articulate that for sure.
Yeah. Maybe Amir should change his nickname to the truth.
I believe Kiefer's on the show. Yeah, look, here you go. And
Yeah.
I can attest to that, Amir. So I think Kiefer's in the show. We got Mr. McGregor here. Maybe who knows? Maybe he'll be the McGregor of slap.
Yeah.
We know
He's
Rhodes is
one of the
on
early
there.
guys. With the early guys on promo, we've seen him on there. We didn't know too much about him.
Yeah, Dakota was the one with the mouth guards. There was 3 guys. It was Dakota and there was 2 others.
Yeah, I believe Kody was one of them, and I forget the others now.
Yeah, Kody. Yeah. Let's see what else we got. I know people like the banter, so I'll give them a little piece of. Oh, coming next Friday. Here we go. Congratulations, Amir. He's gonna have a kid in a week. The
Awesome.
first one's always fun, man.
Just in time for Power Slap number 3 or season 3.
Hey, get out here! You gotta watch this with me. Corey, are you located in like an upper echelon jail cell right now, or where are you at? Like this wall is pretty wild.
Yeah, I'm actually in a gym right now. We're actually giving a seminar for bodybuilding competitions later on this evening.
So you're teaching them how to wear the thong, right?
Exactly. Yeah,
Okay.
You have to put it on very precisely, one leg at a time. You got to be well manicured below the belt. You got to make sure there's a lot of tips and tricks that you need.
Is Ray over there putting the baby oil on the butt cheeks?
Yeah. Ray does the tan. He does the baby oil.
Okay.
He does all that stuff.
That's good. All right, awesome. Well,
he also tests the elasticity of the banana hammock as well. So he's good to go.
I think Amir liked my rendition of his storytelling.
Yeah.
So maybe he's not the comeback kid anymore. He'll just be the truth.
Yeah, that's what
Amir,
I said,
the truth, Nuruddin.
There we go.
You're welcome. I'll be copyrighting that in the States.
Awesome, man. Have you guys checked it out? But we posted it up on our social as well. Did you guys see Paige Van Zandt did the handprint autos? What did you guys think of that?
Well, who got one, Corey?
You a fan of it?
Who got one?
Yes, Slap News did secure the first ever on-print edition of it. 1 of 12. So.
Yeah, let me be very, very clear here for those watching. This isn't something you just go and buy. You've got to fight for this thing, right? It ain't slapping, it ain't punching. It's a fight of the deep pockets. And in this one we won, but I'll tell you what, there's still 10 out there. I don't know who's gonna win those because the numbers were getting pretty intense out there. I might say so much.
Yeah, no, definitely check it out. I believe it's Vanderford Cards.
Vanderford Cards, all one word on Whatnot. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so you'll see it there. You can also check them out on Instagram as well. So like I said, you got 10 more of those Van Zandt handprint autos, directly from the source. Real fun, obviously, pages kind of in and out, giving some additional comments, interacting with, the fans. There was a crazy fan in there that wanted Paige quite adamantly to choke him out, but she wasn't having any of that. Could you imagine, the type of requests that she gets on a daily basis from, these fans and followers? It must be quite
Dude,
wild.
I'd love to do like a DM scroll with Paige Van Zandt. It'd be perfect. Best content piece on the internet, bro.
100%.
There's a question for you, Corey, below. I don't know if you're ignoring that on purpose or what. How many competitors you spray down, Corey?
How many? I've graduated past that, so I don't spray anybody down. That's Ray the intern.
Look, yeah, I'm telling you, I'm filing this copyright immediately.
The comeback kid is dead. He's arrived. He's now the truth. So.
In a drama, because Paige did that promo. That was a pretty crafty, creative thing to do.
Yeah. You have to love X. Did you see the rendition of that? Where they took the screenshot and they put Dana's face on it. And
No, I didn't. I saw something though. I can't remember what it was, but it was funny. They covered Nina's body, so Paige was slapping whatever they put on top of it, and I don't remember what it was.
Oh, so the one that I see, it was on top of Paige's face with Dana slapping Nina. So
Dude, the internet never loses, man. Never loses.
it doesn't, man. Don't even bother trying. That's for sure.
Dude,
So,
this is crazy. You guys are like loving each other today. This is weird. There's a little bit of banter, but today chat is like in love. Everybody's happy. They're saying congrats, Amir. Thank you, my brother. I love you. Oh, you're the man. This is awesome.
awesome, man. Yeah, it's great to hear, my man. I mean, let's talk a little bit about next week and what people can expect from us and the content schedule that's to come.
Well, one thing you're not gonna expect is nudity. No nudity here on Slap News, but we do see nude faces being slapped, right? Especially babyface black friends always got a nude face for us to slap. However, next week, Tuesday, we'll be doing this show as we always do Smack Talk Live episode 21. On Wednesday, it'll be the I can't say debut because we've done it before. It'll be the debut of the live version of the Final Slap immediately following Road to the Title Season 3 episode number 1. We'll be here locked in to give you our analysis, our reaction, everything that we saw, what you missed, you name it. We'll be here. So that's 9:30 p.m. Eastern and 6:30 p.m. Pacific time. Right here again, it'll be a live show called Road to the Title 3: The Final Slap. So 2 live shows next week, and of course we'll be doing interviews with the winners. You may see some guys in there who don't actually win. And again, we want to give everybody the time, the opportunity to chat, to talk their stuff, tell us what's happening next. And I think you guys will enjoy this thoroughly. But as always, your feedback is most important. This is why we do our content. This is why we do these live shows. So you guys let us know what you want to see. Hey, I really like this guy on the show. Would you guys consider having him on? And we'll hear you out. We'll reach out to whoever we got to reach out to. And we'll make sure we get people on the show so you guys can get your questions answered on your behalf by us.
Yeah, I mean, we're dedicated to this. We're going to bring you at least 3 original pieces of content every single week throughout the entire season, if not more. We're really excited about this. You know, the road to the title is a great way to get new talent into the sport. We had a ton of new names every single week. We've got a lot to talk about. So we're excited to be able to get into this and deliver you guys the best content around. No one's going to cover road to the title like we are. So Slap News is your place to be for everything road to the title 3. Get to know the new fighters. You know, get to know, the instant analysis and breakdown. We're going to be bringing fighters on as well to get their real-time emotion, to watching their fights back. You know, so definitely tune in. The Final Slap right after the episode is aired on Rumble, because I'm sure in the comments it's going to be juicy. I'm sure people are going back and forth, and it's going to be great because right now we see a lot of the new fighters, and they can't really disclose a lot of stuff that happened on the show. But when they are able to disclose it, we know they're going to give it to us. We know it's going to be juicy. You know, what we've been told is that this episode has more fights than any other episode in the house. And that's saying a lot. Season 2, there were some fights with the Battle of the Garretts, but apparently this gets ratcheted up to a whole new level. I'm not sure if the Chief is still in here, but we know the Chief is involved, and I believe not 1, but possibly 2 brawls in the house. We see him taking a slap, and we see him giving a slap to another competitor. So it looks like the Chief is front and center of everything that's going down in the house. So we're going to see how that unfolds. And I mean, the Hawaiians, my man, coming in here, doing what they do. I don't know if that's a guy that you want to be slapping inside of the house.
Hey, you know what? I said it before and I'll say it again. If you slap somebody in the middle of a scuffle because you're a slap fighter, that's commitment. That's the commitment that we want to see. You got my vote. If you slap somebody in a real fight versus their punches, I respect that heavily. We got a couple questions here, Corey. Brandon Rhodes wants everybody to know, excuse his haircut. Apparently it was botched. We don't know if it was an inside job, so we will excuse the bad hair days for Brandon Rhodes. Corey, how do you think they'll start the show? Vince Tracy would like to know. Hey, that rhymed.
How do you think they're going to start the show? I mean, honestly, right off the bat, I think back to season 1. We had Ryan Phillips and we had the One-Eye Wolf. In retrospect, the way that they actually filmed that live, that was the last fight of that filming day. They brought that in to season 1. Was a banger. And then what did we see at season 2? If my memory serves me right, we had Logan Greenhall delivering
it was the knockout.
round
It was
1
the
knockout on the first ever episode. So I think that's phenomenal. Obviously, we're going to see the teams being picked. We're going to be seeing the guys. We're going to be seeing some training stuff. I think it's going to be incredibly phenomenal. We've got Austin Turpin, we've got Robert Trujillo that will be there live. And so not live, but we'll be there coaching these guys through in real time. I think it's great to see that aspect. I think we're going to see a lot of that. We have seen that they use it as a platform to build up the star power of the actual coaches. We've seen them on each side of the NASCAR that they're doing at one of these particular races. So I think you're going to see a lot of input there. We kind of fell in love, or people who didn't, know much about Kody Hrastnik on season 2. We were able to see more behind the scenes of Emmanuel Muniz. I think you're going to see more of that, continue on here. And like I said, we're probably going to see somebody in a bigger weight class with a phenomenal knockout that's going to grip you in the first episode to want to tune in week after week.
All right, let's move into the next question that I saw. This is an interesting one. Anything special planned for Smack Talk Live 25? Well, now that you said it, we almost have to do something. You just made it so that we have no choice but to do something special. So now, when we get off of this, we're going to be in the background trying to figure out what we're going to do for Smack Talk Live 25. So thank you, but no thank you.
Yeah, I think that lines up, actually. We'll see if our man Devin Schwann from season 1, if he actually does the finishing move that he says he's going to do in his bare knuckle fight. I think it'll align perfectly for episode number 25. Does he finish the match with an open-handed slap at the end? He says he's going to do it. If it goes the distance, or if he's got a guy down and dazed, he says he wants to slap him to finish it. Wouldn't that be something special for Smack Talk?
Dude, if he does it, it's gonna go bananas. But you know what? I think, again, it goes back to what I said. If you slap somebody open hand in a fist fight, that's commitment, and I respect you.
No, what do you guys want us to do? What do you guys want to do to commemorate the 25th episode of Smack Talk? I mean, it's coming up. Let us know. If there's anything right now, let us know. We'd love to be able to make that happen. Corey versus Frank. Which Frank?
Well, how many? What are the Franks? Yeah. I hope it's not Fertitta. And I hope it's not Lemicel either. So who is it? Is there somebody we don't know named Frank? Is Frank a producer maybe?
Frank the Tank?
Oh, dude, that's rough. Good luck, brother.
Yeah. I'm not sure either of them would be in the same weight class. But
So I don't want to get ahead of myself, but I will just say, if there's women coaches in the future, season 4, season 5, that would be an incredible way to either get the rematch between Sheena and Jackie, or introduce Sheena and Paige, or Jackie and Paige. I mean, whichever way you slice it, depending on who wins what, in the meantime, I would love to see a season with women as coaches 100%, and I don't think we're very far from that.
Yeah, I mean, Jordan, we appreciate you, man, chiming in. We see you very active, on IG. And I think we're going to see it. I mean, we just seen it on Tough. We've seen 2, women coaches. I think it's a great way to be able to build those particular divisions. I think there's not enough women competitors. I know Power Slap number 8, we had 2 female matches on the card. I think that's exactly what needs to be done to help propel and grow this sport forward. And I think if you can get 2 women coaches as part of the season and build in, much more of a female-dominated cast, it'll help to grow and cement that division overall. So it'll be great to see. I mean, obviously, we don't know how it's going to unfold. We think that Jackie Cataline and Paige Van Zandt on a collision course right now for a contender match, potentially to go up against Sheena Pittori. I think, the winner of that match could actually be the coach of season 4 against Sheena. And then maybe we have the coaches battle off at the final. We know Sheena's taking a bit of time away. She's back in Europe right now, getting her, her mind, body, and soul, everything, collective together. And we think it's great, for her after the DQ victory that she had. Get Jackie, take a bit of time away, let these women kind of figure itself out, and she's going to be in line for the best of the best, no matter what happens in the division. I mean, she's done so much for the sport from day one. That she's still the face, she's still the queen, she's, yet to be dethroned. And so as this continues and as it evolves, I think it just adds more excitement to the mix overall. And I think we're going to get a worthy competitor for Sheena when this all shakes out.
Yeah, let's see here. So we got season 3 reunite for the 25th. Interesting idea. We'll talk about it and see logistically what's possible. If I'm being honest, and hopefully I'm kind of going to break the fourth wall here a little bit. It's difficult. The more people you have in here, we've tried it in a few different forums with the great debates. It's really hard to moderate effectively. We don't prep anything, officially. We don't do rehearsals or anything like that. We try to give you guys our honest, kind of off the cuff, with professionalism. So the more people you start to add into the mix, that really becomes difficult. But you're making the wheels spin a little bit. So we'll figure out something, a creative way to try and incorporate, a lot of people in our I don't know if you want to call it our 25th anniversary. I don't know if that's appropriate. I think 25th anniversary gives me like a bigger vibe, but maybe our 25th episode capstone.
Yeah. We'll figure it out. I got some spin in my head right now, so I like it, my man.
Unsanctioned fight against me and Pitbull. Well, why not a sanctioned fight between you and Pitbull? Number one, there's an issue right here, Slap Dog. He's in South Africa, and so that means it's not easy for you to get to him or him to get to you. So, like, let's promote a power slap fight. I think that's a great fight. I think that's a fight he would take. I think that's a fight you would take. So why not just do a sanctioned fight? Abu Dhabi, if that's to be the card, whether that's next or not, if that's to happen, like they said it's supposed to, Abu Dhabi, October, Slapdog versus Danny Van Heerden, the Pitbull. I would love to see it. Great way for you to get your name back out there, prove yourself, and a great way for Danny to try to bounce back from a loss.
Yeah, I mean, it makes too much sense right now. I definitely agree. So
I think I mentioned this earlier on the post. Austin Vanderford he's kind of training. If you watch, he's hitting Paige with the noodle in the manner that you would slap somebody. So I think it makes sense personally. He has said he might at some point in his life consider doing it. We're not quite there yet. He's not done with MMA. So who knows? But I did comment from the Slap News page, and Corey may not know this, but he knows now that look, man, you're training the right way. You should just kind of come over and do this thing. So we'll see what happens with Austin Vanderford. It's awesome to see a husband involved that much in his wife's power slap career. That level of investment is incredibly important, and we salute it for sure.
And I'm not sure if you've seen, but he did say on his Whatnot Live the other night when we were securing that handprint auto, that he did say he is dropping down to 170 for his next match. So that's why he's been away for a little bit, coming down from 185 to 170. That's where he wants to compete. So who knows? Maybe he could slide in there.
Yeah, man. Again, like I said, I mean, getting the spouses involved in that kind of way. This is the first time we've seen a couple of athletes, of combat athletes particularly. It could be very interesting. It could really make for an interesting, entrance. And again, I think some of that. I posted a Tabitha Ritchie clip earlier from our interview during UFCX, where she said, Paige opened the door for MMA fighters to come over, male, female, excuse me. So that is very possible. It is something that we could see, and I think it kind of legitimizes the sport in a new way.
What do you think is the next logical step? Do you think we see a guy like Larry Wheels? We see him go up against a crazy Hawaiian who is no slouch. Do you think we kind of see that crossover? Because, I mean, to be honest with you, from a marketing standpoint, the crazy Hawaiian, whether he realized it or not, it actually made him be relevant for a much longer period of time by releasing that video with Larry Wheels. Could we see a guy like Larry Wheels over here in Power Slap? Because I think that is just as big as Paige Van Zandt coming over because of the star power and the popularity of a social influencer, a guy who is massive in the bodybuilding space, not for competing per se, but for what he does on social media is quite incredible. So if there was that crossover, I mean, that could be just as big for the sport as Paige Van Zandt coming over.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great point. I think in reality, I don't know that you'll ever see the kind of core base of power slap strikers and athletes who have, long deals competing against these influencers who do one-offs. I think you could probably see like an influencer version of the league where they kind of go in at each other. I don't know that you ever see like a champion in the division fight, a particular influencer. But it's possible. You bring up a great point. And I do want to point out that when you look at social media, and we've caught as many of these clips as we've caught, and I'm sure there's more out there, but you're starting to see more and more people posting clips, slapping people, both fake, real. I mean, Danny son slaps him. Larry Wheels does the thing with Crazy Hawaiian. I don't even know who this woman was. She looked like a bodybuilder slapping a guy unconscious on a boat on her knees. I mean, that is very important to the growth of the sport. People may not notice that or may not realize that, but the more that you see, right, the slap in the movie coming out the end of the year with The Rock, Red One, all of that stuff is all good press, it's good publicity, and it ultimately leads back to the real league that exists for this stuff, the Premier League, the number one league, which is Power Slap. So I think as you see those things, also, if I could ask, humbly, if you guys see clips of slaps that we don't see, send it to us. Send it to us. DM it to us, on Slap News. We love to put those clips out, let people judge, you know, the strike. Like I said, that chick looked like she knocked the guy out on her knees. So that was thoroughly impressive. I don't know who she is or if she has any interest in power slap, but if you can do that, you should be up there.
I agree, my man. All right, buddy, let's wrap it up for this week. We appreciate everybody. Smack Talk, episode number 20 in the books. Same place next week, same time, here live. We have a second live show going down on Wednesday. The final slap right after the debut edition of Road to the Title Season 3. And then you're going to want to tune in on the Thursday and Friday afterwards when we bring you interviews, the in-depth interviews, so that you get to know more behind these fighters. We appreciate you as always. I appreciate you, Ding, for taking the control, taking the lead when I'm on the road, but we wouldn't miss it for the world. We keep on producing them, my man. Until next week, stay strong.
Let's go.